Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you my techniques, my tips and tricks on how to get your makeup to last all night long if you're going out, or just all day long if you're going from work, out for drinks, or out for a date, or out for whatever you want your makeup to last for. I have to show you all the things that I think you need in order to make your makeup last longer and to look fresh all day. A few things that I let you know that I've learned from personal experience along the way. Show you the things that I think that you definitely need in your life if you want your makeup to last and look the best that it can all day long. I'm actually got like the worst cold and the worst sore throat ever right now, so if my voice in the video is like really husky and really like bunged up, that's because I am. Back in my old setup today in front of my window because I wanted to show you like the natural daylight as well as my light, to try and show you the most accurate way of what my skin actually looks like. So if you want to see how I got my skin looking like this and my tips and tricks on how to keep your makeup looking on fleek, if you want to see my tips on how to keep your makeup looking fresh and funky all night long, then just keep watching. Make sure that your makeup stays on all night. Of course you want to start with a primer. So normally I would go in with the Nivea Men Post Shave Balm, but I've actually had some drier skin in the winter, so I'm going to go in with this Spackle, the Laura Geller one in the shade Champagne. I've used this before on my channel and it's just a bit more hydrating and less sort of drying on your skin, so I'm going to go in with this all over. And just make sure you get it all over your face. You don't want to miss anywhere out or think that like somewhere's not as important. I also go over my eyelids as well, but that's just personal preference. I know it's a bit excessive, but I always go in with two primers. I go in with a pore filling primer. The one I'm using today is this Porefessional from Benefit. Mine's is so dirty. The key to these kind of primers is you don't want to take too much, because if you end up putting too much on it, it'll just make your foundation slip on top of it rather than sinking into your skin. So I'm going to take about this much for my whole face. Go in my pore areas that I don't like, which is here, and then I'll put a little bit on my nose, forehead and chin. Go over these areas and just tap it in. And this makes sure that it's actually going into your pores rather than sitting on top of your skin. Something I spoke about on my channel before is that when I go out I want to use a sort of lighter weight foundation all over my face and then just go in and spot conceal areas that I feel like I need a bit more coverage, or just add some extra foundation rather than going over your whole face with a really thick layer of foundation. So the one I'm going to use, I've also spoke about this on my channel before, but it's the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation. I just like this one because it's like a MAC face and body. It's really thin and it's a water foundation, but it's like a matte. It's not as glowy as the other one and it gives you a bit more coverage, I think. To use these foundations because I feel like they just wear off a bit easy. My foundation comes off the most like around this area here, so I find that when it fades a lot more natural rather than having a big thick layer of foundation and then it just fades like patchy and blotchy and horrible. This voice, honestly. So I'm going to start with a dot on my chin, a dot on my cheek. And I always think like less is more. Going with less to start off with, and then you can always add more, but it's a lot harder to take off what you've already put on. So I'm going to start that, and I'm going to take a beauty blender. It's personal preference again if you want to use a beauty blender or if you want to use a brush, but I think using a beauty blender makes it a lot less cakey. This foundation is a bit lighter than my skin tone because I ran out of my darker one, but I'm just going to go in with bronzer and stuff later once I've put this on. So that is what my skin looks like with that on. See, I think this looks a lot better, even though you can still see like freckles and these spots and stuff here. I think this looks a lot more flattering and a lot better than it would if you had a big thick mask of foundation on. Like, even though you can still see imperfections and stuff and freckles and whatever, I think it looks a lot prettier. But obviously that's personal preference. If you want to have a cake face, like, more power to you. I'm not saying that that looks horrible or that doesn't look flattering. This is just what I found works for me and what looks the best when my makeup starts to come off during the night. Next I'm going to go in with concealer, and as always I'm just going to be using the Naked Skin. I'm still waiting on the Tarte Shape Tape to come in on QVC. I think it comes in this month sometime. Definitely get that when it comes back in stock and I will let you know what I think. This is in the shade Fair Neutral and it's obviously too light for my tan, but I will go in and darken everything up. So what I'm going to do with this is go under my eyes first just on the bags, and then go around my nose and just sort of spot conceal any imperfections that you think that you need to cover. So I've got a few blemishes that I'm going to use this for, but I'm also going to use this to highlight my face. I have like redness and stuff around there, and that's where my foundation tends to come off, so I want to add a little bit more. So a lot of these steps are going to be quite repetitive because I also do them in a lot of my other videos, but it just shows that that's what I like to use and that's what I find works well for me. So I'm going to go in with the RCMA No Colour Powder, and honestly, like, look how much I've got left. I've got another one in my drawer, but I think I've had this for, must have been like at least 10 months to a year, and that's me just finishing it now, and I use it every single day. So I feel like a translucent powder is something that is crucial to making your makeup last long and look really pretty all through the night. I don't even know how I used to do my makeup when I didn't have this, and I honestly wouldn't want to be without it now. I used to use the Laura Mercier just the translucent powder, but I think this is a lot better. It's a lot cheaper, which is good obviously, but it's also a lot less drying. Like, I have oily skin, and I still found that, like, if I took pictures or if I just looked in the mirror, like especially around about here or like underneath my eyes, like it would cling to sort of patches, and it would crease a lot easier, and it would just look like, even no matter how much like setting spray and stuff you put on, it would also look sort of like dusty and just dry. I would really recommend this. This is like the secret weapon to making your makeup last all night long and not come off. So I'm going to go in with my beauty blender. I think this is also a really important step, to use a damp beauty blender. Make sure it is damp, and this also makes the powder more hydrating and just melt with your skin rather than just sitting on like a layer on top of your skin. I am going to be baking, and I think this also see, this powder is just like the best thing for this long, but I think that is amazing for keeping your makeup on and just making you look airbrushed. Like, I would never go out now without baking my face. And make sure you've got quite a lot of powder on your beauty blender. You can do this with a brush, of course, if you want to, if you prefer working with brushes, but I just find that this helps it sort of mix in with your skin a lot more. So like I said before, my foundation comes off a lot around here, so I'm also going to bake that area. Just like sort of any area that you feel like your foundation goes missing, or you want a little bit of help to keep it on your face, just bake that area. Foundation also always comes off my nose, so I'm going to put it on there, and then I'm going to also bake my chin. This might seem excessive, but like I've said, I do have oily skin, so my foundation does tend to come off quite a lot. You should let your bake sit for like 5 to 10 minutes, and I know that sounds like so excessive, but that really helps it like melt in with your skin and make sure that your makeup is locked in place and it's not going anywhere. So if you are someone that does your eye makeup last, then this gives you time now to go in and do your eyes and your eyebrows, and then by the time you're finished that, you'll probably have been sitting for about 10 to 15 minutes. Well, I do anyway. I take ages. If you're someone that likes to do your eyes first, what I like to do is I'll do my eyeshadow, and then I'll go in and do my foundation and bake, and then when I'm waiting for this bake to set in, I will go in and put on my eyelashes and do my eyebrows, and that sort of lets me sit for at least 5 minutes, and then I can find something else to do for another 5 minutes. But if you do let it sit, the longer you let it sit, that it will adhere more to your skin and it'll make your makeup last longer. So I'm going to go and do my eyes and eyebrows and stuff just now, and then I'll be back to show you how I would finish off the face. I just finished my eyes and my eyebrows off camera. I'm going to go in with the Real Techniques Dual Fibre brush, and I'm going to just dust off that powder. And as you can see, my face looks so pale, so what I'm going to do is go in with a face powder. This is the Laura Geller Balanced Bake to Balance and Brighten. You can go in with any face powder that's dark, that matches your neck, whatever neck colour your neck may be. I'm just going to go around my face and just pat this in. First of all, I'm going to start by patting it like this, just because I don't want to move any of the foundation underneath, because obviously we didn't set these areas. I want to use a powder that doesn't have any SPF. I'm normally going with that I showed before is the Bare Minerals powder, but that actually has SPF in it, so I wouldn't want to use that on a night out because that's what's going to give you flashback. So that is what the skin looks like. Obviously, as you know, I never put too much foundation on. Things that I needed to cover are covered, and I think that looks pretty because you can still sort of see freckles and stuff. You can still see your skin showing through, but your skin looks flawless and perfect, and it doesn't look like you have any imperfections. And it also means that your makeup's going to stay on all night because you did do that baking, and then you've got the layer of powder over it. Whether you would rather use like a setting spray or if you want to use a more hydrating spray, but since, like I said, my face has been a bit on the drier side, I'm going to go in with the Mario Badescu Rose facial spray with aloe, herbs and rose water. I like to put a spray on now, and I also put it on later, but just to sort of settle down all those powders and make it feel less cakey on your face. I feel like, so also I would say that something like this, or I normally use the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. I feel like a setting spray is key to getting your makeup to last all night, especially the All Nighter by Urban Decay. That makes my makeup just stick on so well, so I would really recommend getting that one. But also sprays like this are good if you want to just settle down powders, so I'll normally use a mixture of both. I know it's a bit extra, but I'll put this on just to settle down the powders, and then I'll use the Urban Decay one just to make sure that my makeup's locked in place and that it's not going to move. So I'm just going to go and finish off the rest of my face. I'm just going to use the exact same products that I used in my last video, so there's not much point in me showing them again on here. We'll go and do that, and then I'll be back to tell you my main tips and the main things that I think you need to make your makeup last all night. Okay, so I just finished my makeup off camera, and I wanted to come back and just sort of tell you the main things that I think you need to make your makeup last all night long. So the first thing is obviously, like I spoke about, wearing a lighter weight foundation and then just going in and spot concealing. I feel like that helps so much with the way that your makeup wears off. The second is this powder. Like, this is your life. Like, if you struggle with your makeup coming off, like, this is your life. So I would really recommend getting that powder and obviously baking with a damp beauty blender. I feel like that's key for me anyway, to do it with the damp beauty blender rather than a brush or I don't know what else you would bake with, but and it just helps the powder sort of settle in with your skin. I think that also what a lot of people I have spoke to struggle with is if you bake in certain areas, having the flashback in pictures, and that's something that no one wants. But I think that going in with the face powder over top really helps to sort of give you back colour to your face and takes away any excess powder that you have because you're buffing on top of that translucent powder. I got mine on OKURRR Makeup Emporium, I think, on the UK. Beauty Bay did start selling it, but now they don't anymore, so I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, I got it from there, and I think it went up to like $13 due to shipping, but I was still fine paying that for this much powder that I know this has lasted me about a year, and I use it every single day. You don't obviously need to bake if you don't feel like you have to. If you just want to set your face, I just feel like a translucent powder is like the most important because you're not piling more colour and more coverage onto a setting spray of some sort. This is obviously the more hydrating one like I spoke about, but I think the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray is like the best setting spray that you could have if you want your makeup to last all night long. Like, you need to get it. You can get the small ones I think for about £9, or you can get the bigger ones for £20. I just think the bigger ones, if you're paying £20, like I've got one over there, I think I've had it for about 3 months now, and I normally use it every day as well. If you like this video and you feel like you've learned something new today, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe before you leave. Leave me some comments below you want to see in the future, if you want to see any other like tips and stuff I have for makeup, or if there's any other tutorials that you would like to see. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.